The Greyhound bus terminal on 5th Street wasn't exactly glamorous. Fluorescent lights flickered, announcements crackled over old speakers, and people shuffled through, always in a hurry, always looking elsewhere. In the middle of all this, pushing a mop across the cracked tiles, was James Jim Harper. He was older, mid-60s, always wore a faded blue janitor's uniform, short gray hair under a worn baseball cap. Quiet. Eyes down. No one ever talked to Jim. He liked it that way. To most travelers, Jim was invisible, a part of the background, like the broken vending machines or the benches scarred with graffiti. Kids would laugh, college students would rush by, business travelers would complain if he blocked their path, but Jim would just quietly step aside, nod politely, and continue mopping. It was a cold November morning when Private Lucas Carter, just back from basic training, waited for his bus. His eyes drifted around the terminal, bored, restless. That's when he noticed the janitor, an older guy, sleeves rolled halfway up, wringing out a mop. Lucas's eyes caught on a faded tattoo on the man's forearm. He stared, blinked, looked closer. It was an insignia Lucas knew from history lessons at boot camp, a dagger through a lightning bolt, the mark of a legendary Special Forces unit from decades earlier. Lucas froze. No way! Jim noticed the young soldier staring and quickly rolled down his sleeves, but it was too late. Lucas stepped forward, a little nervous. "Excuse me, sir?" Jim paused, surprised. Nobody ever called him sir. "That tattoo," Lucas swallowed hard. "Is that from, MACV-SOG?" Jim looked away, jaw tightening. "Long time ago, kid." Lucas straightened, snapped to attention. "Sir, my grandfather served with that unit. I heard stories. You guys were legends." The busy terminal seemed to slow. Travelers turned their heads. Something felt different. Jim just stood quietly, mop in hand, unsure how to respond. Lucas slowly raised his hand, saluted sharply. Jim hesitated. His eyes softened. Finally, slowly, he raised a hand and returned the salute. The first salute he'd given in nearly 40 years. Lucas hesitated. "Why are you working here, sir?" Jim's eyes dropped back to the mop. "Everyone needs to do something. Keeps the ghosts away." Lucas nodded, understanding more than he could say. "Thank you. Truly." Jim looked up, eyes a little wet. "Just do good, kid." Someone nearby had filmed the exchange. Within hours, the video spread online. A young soldier salutes forgotten hero at bus terminal. Suddenly, Jim's quiet life was anything but quiet. People stopped him, thanked him, reporters called. Veterans visited, shook his hand, said, "Welcome home." Jim was polite but overwhelmed. He wasn't looking for this kind of attention. A week later, veterans from across the state arrived at the terminal. Quietly, respectfully, they pinned a new sign by the cleaning supply closet. Reserved for Sergeant James Harper, MACV-SOG. Not forgotten anymore. Jim found it that morning and stared. A young mother passing by with her son stopped to read the sign. She knelt, pointed. "See that man over there? He's a real hero." Jim heard her. His heart tightened. After that day, something changed at the terminal. People nodded to him. College kids stopped leaving garbage on the floor. The terminal wasn't just a place to rush through anymore. It was a place of quiet respect. Jim still kept mopping floors, still quietly kept his head down. But every morning, when he passed the sign, his steps were a little lighter, his shoulders straighter. Months later, Lucas returned, now a corporal. He shook Jim's hand again, told him about his grandfather who had passed. "He would have wanted you to have this," Lucas said, placing a worn military challenge coin into Jim's palm. Jim held it gently, eyes moist. "Thank you." Lucas smiled. "Thank you, Sergeant." Jim never asked for medals, parades, or recognition. All he'd ever wanted was peace, something to quiet his memories. He'd found that finally, in the small gestures of respect, the nods from strangers, and the occasional salute from passing soldiers, every day he returned to his mop and bucket, proud to keep the floors clean for those still on their journeys. But now he knew. He wasn't invisible anymore, and neither were the men he'd lost. They were remembered, quietly,